Hi, Dad.
Hi, Leva. You want to say hi? I'm making a video.
Real?
Faith, family, and what it is to be an American. Oh, let me start out like this. Welcome to The Turning Point in Me. Here we have my coworker. How do you want to be introduced? I should ask you that.
However you wanna.
Okay. You're a dad in Minnesota that I work with, and yeah, that's it. And you'd like to share your feelings on all three of these topics.
Sure. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Faith, right? You're a Christian, man?
That I am.
Was there a specific moment or season when your faith shifted from something you believed in to something you actively lived?
Interesting. It's a very interesting question. How to answer that. I guess I'm not sure how I'd answer that. So I actually grew up thankfully in a Christian home, and I guess I haven't since birth, I guess, I haven't changed the way that I believe, I guess. Um so yeah, I guess I've been fortunate enough to always be in a Christian home, and so I've always had a Christian faith, I guess.
Yeah. Believed in to something you actively lived. Maybe in action or has it always, is it, I think I understand.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I
Was
mean,
it so not really
I
like
guess just like maybe just like growing as you get older, as like a child, maybe you don't quite fully understand. But then like it was probably sometime. I'd say like probably the biggest turning point for me was like when I attended. We had a confirmation camp that we did, and you spend basically like a week and a half of time together with people your age, and instructors would you know have classes a couple times a day, and you just learn about Christ and learn about what he did and what he taught. And
Did you meet your wife around that time?
funny story. So we don't just at the time our we have a fairly decent size group of people, I guess.
yeah.
And at that time there was 3 different camps because there was so many kids born that year, the year I was born. And I didn't know it, but she actually went with my best friend to the camp right before me. And initially, she was going to be going to the same camp that I actually went to. So we actually didn't meet at that time. But yeah, afterwards, we kind of joke about it that, wow, it was crazy that we could have met each other so much sooner.
How many years after that did you guys meet?
Ooh, it was, I would say, so the camp is, you're 15 years old when you go to the camp. It would have been like 7 or 8 years after that. 7 years
Okay.
after that.
Dang.
Yeah.
You guys must know each other really well. To then talk back like, wait a minute, you went to that camp? I went to that camp.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing how I believe is there's nothing you shouldn't be willing to talk about with your wife. Like if there's something that you aren't willing to talk about with your wife, you should really take a step back and think twice about like where you're at in life.
How's that relationship making you feel?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Next question. How did tragedy, fear, or cultural pressure either challenge your faith or deepen it?
I would say challenge, not so much, just because I feel pretty secure. I'm very thankful for that, obviously.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
amazing.
it's one of those things where it's just like, I would say it was more so like, it definitely, what was that second part again?
Yeah, so how did tragedy fear? So maybe it's asking if there was a moment when that turning point happened. So maybe it wasn't. So maybe it makes this tragedy, fear, or cultural pressure either challenge your faith or deepen it. Hmm.
You can take it in a
Okay,
lot of different
yes.
ways.
Yeah, so I would relate mostly to that deepen part.
Mm-hmm.
Um, More so because it's just one of those things where it's like, I think it, for anybody that was a Christian, I think the Charlie Kirk shooting was definitely a time of at least, you know, saying, whoa, like what does our world become? What's happening to everybody at this point? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's I remember when it happened, I was in a very like just rough place to just like think about it and think of like how people could actually do such a thing. And I'll be honest, I don't cry a whole lot, but I actually was like, there was nights where I was like tearing up just
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it because I didn't understand why he was, you know, taken for simply the way he believed.
But then
And
there,
it just bugged me.
Yeah, I didn't see a lick of evil. Nothing that, not a, not a damning. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he was a very good individual.
What does trusting God look like for you today compared to who you were 5 or 10 years ago?
For me, it hasn't really changed much. Um, I kind of, it's like I said, I was kind of fortunate to be born into a Christian family, and I'm really thankful for that. You know, I think if anything, it's just become more and more eye opening every year
Yeah.
that, wow, like I'm so fortunate to have been brought up in this, you know,
to
Just
just
way.
continually see the blessings year by year, and you just, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feeling the
and
thankfulness.
I don't, to be frank, I don't mean to like brag about that,
You
but I'm
shouldn't.
just very
No.
thankful for that.
That's a, yeah. I don't, could be. It could, some might call it a flex.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if that's what it is, I'll take that flex every day.
Yeah, I'm gonna flex
You know,
that.
because at the end of the day, it's, you know, I'd rather be closer to Christ than someone else's opinion. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, those are the three faith questions. The next topic is your oop, next topic is your family, and you gave me a beautiful Christmas card with 5 little girls and your wife, and you look so young, and just to see 5 girls, first you think, is he just keep trying for a boy or just a glutton?
I mean,
Or
you know,
just
at the end of the day,
thankful.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, a boy would be. I think it would be pretty cool. You know, because it's not it's not the same kind of relationship as you have with daughters. I feel like
Yeah.
it's slightly different. I don't know what it would be like because I can't speak for that, right? I don't have one, so I can't speak on that. But I just feel like it would be slightly different kind of relationship. But
Gotcha.
nevertheless, I feel like I get along extremely well with my girls, and they're just, yeah, they're very just heartwarming, you
Yeah.
know.
That's awesome. First question. How did becoming a spouse or a parent change the way you see your responsibility to the next generation?
I would say that like before I got married, you think a lot more of what you need as a person or how you can change. Everything is kind of seems like it's kind of self-centered.
Mm.
Um Maybe that's a strong word to use, I don't know, but
Makes sense to
nevertheless,
me.
when Yeah, and then when you get married, you have to think of not. It's like you're for me, anyways. For a man, I don't know if it's different from women, but from my perspective, as soon as we had our first kid, it was like, what do I need to do to make sure this kid is clothed, fed, and grows up in a good environment? And you like stop thinking so much about yourself, and you start thinking a lot more about others,
Yeah.
or specifically your family.
Sure. Yeah. Completely changed me too. Completely, right? Like, yeah, dang. I was that selfish. I didn't realize. But yeah, now I
Yeah,
do.
I think it's a big realization for anybody that doesn't have any kids or isn't married yet. That once
Hmm.
they have a kid, then they really realize, wow, I really was that selfish. None of us want to admit to it, but yeah, we were.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. Was there a moment when you realized your family needed you or needed more of you, not just your time, but your leadership?
I would say it was probably like maybe like uh I don't know the exact timing, but like when the oldest first started like trying to how would I say, like, kind of control a situation. Maybe, and it's not that old, maybe like 2 or 3 years old, and you start to realize it, and you go, okay, no, this is not how Christ wants us to live our lives, and you have to remind them that, hey, this isn't right, and you know every time something like that happens, I think it's great for a parent, because every time something like that happens, it makes you also think, how can I set a better example each and
Yeah.
every time?
Right.
You know,
That's the hardest part. Because I got my daughter's two. I know you've got a 2-year-old right now. Is she two? You have two? One under
yeah.
two?
So the youngest I think is 2, or going to be 2. Wait, she'd be like 1.5, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the oldest is 10. So quite a span.
Nice. Yeah, I'm having a hard time with she's just wound for sound and saying no. She likes to do the opposite, exact opposite. Okay. I feel
And
like this
it's
is a
it's
phase. I hope it's just a phase.
it won't be a phase if you don't nip it in the butt.
Hmm.
I don't want to be mean, but like at the same point in time, that's what they expect out of a father figure,
Hmm.
and they learn to respect you. Uh, I've actually talked about it more with my wife over the last few years, that because we've seen our kids, how the teachers are always just like, oh, your kids are so good, they're so great, and I'm just like, they're not, like, in my mind I don't think they're like great, but then I've realized that what it comes down to is a lot of these parents don't reprimand their children,
Sure.
and I just think that you're when you reprimand a child, you're not doing it to harm them, you're not doing it to hurt them, you're doing it out of love and
Hmm.
to teach them self-respect.
Sure.
A lot of people, I think, don't understand that, and it's sad because you see the kid basically push his way around, and then now he's learned an incorrect understanding, and he doesn't respect himself or themselves. I don't know how you want to say it, but
Either or.
Yeah.
they don't respect themselves. Yeah, because they don't understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Hmm.
They just know that they can get it their way.
I know. That's a tough
So,
one.
it's tough.
There's so little, and you want to be. Yeah, but yet I feel like they seem so smart. They seem so.
So
Kids
smart.
kids are incredibly smart,
Yeah.
and they are they're just like you when you were a child. You know.
That's the crazy, right? You're like, oh boy, I can see what's going on here.
Yep, and it's I feel like it's like that's why it's actually really cool being a parent. Like, as your kids get older, you start to see and remember that was me at that age.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool.
What values are you intentionally fighting to pass on to your children in a culture that pushes against them?
Fighting against passing on?
What values are you intentionally fighting to pass on to your children in a culture that pushes against them?
I would say all of them. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, our culture is full of how
Just
I
values
would
in
see it
general.
as, yeah, just all the like all the. I would say this: Christ-like values.
Yeah.
That's where I get my values is, Christ.
Yeah.
So if I understand that, okay, that's why it was rough for me, seeing and hearing Charlie get shot. I mean, it's someone that you look at as, while they're, following these values very, very closely, and seeing them, you know, get taken away simply because they were willing to speak out. It's not cool. But yeah, it's like,
It was so crazy. That hurt. That was so hard.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, after seeing that, it just motivated me even more to like want to make sure like that my kids were never gonna try and learn something
Mhm.
that a teacher might teach them that would be inappropriate, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
And
We're always
that's one
gonna
of the
look.
things that I. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say that, like, one of the things that I like to do is when I go home from work is I like to ask my kids, "What did you learn today?" And a lot of times they're just like, "Oh, nothing," And I'm like, "Well, just got to be something." And like, yeah, it takes time to like go back and forth, but like, who cares at the end of the day, because that time is more valuable than anything else in your life, in my opinion, as a parent, to
Mhm. Yeah, there's that
get
little
them to
reminder.
relate, like, yeah, like what they're actually learning. Because if they don't ever say anything, how are you going to know whether or not they're learning stuff that shouldn't be taught to a child?
Sure. You have 2 in school or 3?
3, yeah.
3 in school. The 10-year-old is, what grade is that?
That's a good question. I think it's fourth. I think is what I think she's in now.
4th grade?
So
Okay.
yeah, and
Gotcha.
it's one of those things where I also have told my wife that, the day that they come home and tell me something different, I don't care what it takes. We'll have to do what we got to do to make it, homeschool.
Well, they'll be vocal for sure when something comes around, and they'll be like, "That's not what I learned." You're like, "Really?" Yeah. If it comes around.
Yeah, and you never know. Like,
Yeah,
I hope that day doesn't come, but at the same point in time,
be
I
ready.
know that it probably will at some point.
Uh,
That leads us into what it is to be an American in this trying time of truth. You seem like, I mean, just being Christian is your rock, and everything around you is noise. The world can be falling apart. You seem like a guy that it's not going to really sway you, but I want to get your opinion on a few things. Was there a moment when you felt your love for this country stop being passive and become personal?
Yeah, I would say it was, I don't know, like, probably shortly after I had the first kid. I was, because once you have a child, the biggest thing you want is you want to protect them. Like, and so then you start like looking at, like, okay, what are our current laws? Why are they in place, and who upholds them, and um, are they good, or is this something that we should maybe hold a stance against?
mhm.
Um, and I think for me, it's, I've even had times, it's, call me crazy, but over the last maybe 2-3 year span now, I've actually been debating whether or not I actually like try to run for a office position of some sort in government, because I've been so sickened by some of these laws that these lawmakers have been making, and decisions that they've been coming to, and I don't agree with them.
Mhm.
And so, yeah.
So what do we do when we
I don't
don't?
know if I fully answered the question.
No.
Fully answer that, or
Yes. Well, you did when you're so when your first daughter was born, then it kind of gave you, right, a look into politics. I feel the same way. Like my only daughter right now is born, and now I'm looking at politics, and then I mean Charlie Kirk's death too, like pulled me in. But I wouldn't have known about Charlie Kirk had I not had a daughter. That's what I think. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Hard to say, but making it personal. So right, that's just it. You answered the question. You made it personal because you're investing in your livelihood, the things around you. For some reason, it didn't matter before. Maybe you just felt more of a nomad. But yeah, once you have a kid, it's personal because you can.
Yep.
I mean, you're a property owner.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. You've got to pay attention to that. And once they start going to school, then you think about the longevity and right, all that jazz. God, yeah, that's intense. How do you reconcile faith, freedom, and responsibility in a nation that feels increasingly divided?
Ooh, read that again. A little slower.
How do you reconcile faith, freedom, and responsibility in a nation that feels increasingly divided?
I'm not the smartest.
This isn't for you. That was a weird question.
Hold on. What does reconcile? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't think that's the right word. I'm sorry.
No. Totally fine. Say it. It's me. I'm not the smartest, like I said. Say it. Say it in just dumber terms.
For sure.
What are you asking?
What am I reading when I... How would I answer this question?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
How do you... I know your faith is grounding, and your family is grounding. Your country is divided. How do you kind of, I guess that's the word, reconcile with the fact of being an American, with you see your values getting trampled on all over other places, just ridiculousness happening. You're scared about things we shouldn't be scared about in this country, and so how do you come up? Yeah.
I have a great answer for you, Jacob.
Yeah, please.
So that's part of the reason why I wanted to come on here, to be able to reconcile it. This is reconciling it right here. Voicing my opinions is how I reconcile it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be on a podcast, to a friend, to a neighbor, that's how I reconcile it. Yeah. Because I feel like there's zero chance that you could live in this world and just not talk to anybody about it with the fear that they're going to disagree with you.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be plenty of people that disagree with you, but you should still be able to live together.
Right. That's just the craziest thing. How far a disagreement can go, the internet and everything, just COVID and pushing us to solitary. We're ones and zeros. People, it feels like some plug into the Matrix, kind of. Some of these...
Yeah. The COVID was a very interesting thing because on one hand, you wanted to be obedient to the law, but on the other hand, you questioned whether the law was overstepping its bounds.
Yeah.
So it was a very difficult time, that's for sure.
Correct. Yeah.
Thankfully, during that time, I was for the most part working in the trades, and there's no such thing as COVID in the trades. It just doesn't exist.
You still got stuff. So,
You know, stuff still got to get done at the end of the
right.
day. You know.
Yeah, that sucks for you, man. But remember my repair.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember.
yeah. It was actually kind of. I'll put it this way: it was very enjoyable during
Huh.
that time because, you know, just the commute.
Oh,
So during COVID, like, you could just fly. There was just wide open, empty roads. I was like, this is great. Let's keep this stuff going. And then
this is
after it
great.
went on for how many years, I was like, okay, this is, it's great, but it's also like everybody is like shutting down, and I don't think that's good for the country.
Oh my god, it was so sad. What does being an American mean to you now that it didn't before? And right, we're kind of going over that. And what are you willing to stand up for because of it? So, right, this is your reconciliation, and we're standing up for our morals, and we're not going to be afraid to speak up, right? We understand that we're strong, but we need to be strong for our nation, which means we have to be vocal, right, and compassionate, of course, but just like scream out the American values louder than all the other, um, un-American values.
Yeah, yeah. So at the end of the day, there's always going to be people that disagree with you. And you have to take it with a grain of salt because no matter who it is, at the end of the day, they have a family too. Maybe they don't have kids, but they might have brothers, sisters, parents, and those people love them. We need to treat them with respect, no matter how they see things. But at the same point in time, this nation was founded on values. This nation was founded on Christian values. I know that might sound harsh to some of the people that might watch this, but that is the truth.
Yeah.
It was founded on Christian values, and Charlie taught that in many of his whatever you call them, question. I don't know what they
Yeah,
were
the
called.
college.
Question me or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Prove me wrong.
yeah, prove me wrong. That's what it was exactly. Yeah. So it's like, because our nation was founded on Christian values, it doesn't mean that I'm saying that you have to be a Christian to live here. No, I'm saying that the reason that we were successful as a nation was because that we were founded on these Christian values.
Yeah, and yeah.
If you look back, I mean, if you just think of it, in the world as a whole, you can look at different countries and just say, hey, in the last 50 years, how successful were they compared to America? I think the data will show you America was extremely successful in the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much in the last 10. That's when things have started to maybe get a little crazy. And people, I think it's just, I'd say that the number one thing causing people to lose morals in this country is selfishness.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that, people wanted to put something very fancy or very nice or money in their pocket, and they lost the morals that they had before that, because slowly but surely you start to want more and more of money or things, or your lines start getting blurred, and pretty soon you decide that what you want is more important than what God wants for you.
Yeah.
So
The distractions in our lives are so crazy because, especially with our kids growing up, how do you, just to kind of understand, as I want to get some advice from you as a parent of a daughter, and do you have cell phones? Do you let your 10-year-old have a phone?
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Is there internet time?
Yeah, we'll let them go on a tablet. Yep. Obviously we have them, monitored, right? That, what they are able to access and what they're not, right? Parental controls there's a reason they were made. Use them.
Button on.
What's that?
The button, right? It's a button, right? On.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. You can, and almost all of them are very adaptable with changing settings and so on and so forth through different age limits. But yeah, I mean, just simply, and then the next big thing is you don't let them use headphones.
Hear what they're.
You let you have the voice on. You let the thing have full blast volume, basically. So yeah, it might be loud in the house, and I mean, as they get, maybe a little bit more, show that they're a little more responsible. Like our oldest two now, they have headphones, but not when they're putting the tablet. It's only if they have MP3 players. They're great.
Oh my gosh! Are you serious?
Yes, you get them MP3 players that you can put books on tape on, and you let them do that. Don't fall into this understanding that a child needs a phone before they're 16.
I love that.
You want to know why 16 is the number? Because at 16, that is when they will be driving their own vehicle, and that's the only time that they should then have a phone.
Makes sense.
The only exception I'll say is if they're going to a place where you're uncertain as to what might take place, give them your phone. And if you've been respectful teaching them as they're growing up, when they get to that 14, 15 years old, they will keep those morals and they will respect not going into things that they shouldn't on your phone. You lend it to them because they know better at that point.
Right. And
it's like I said before, it really comes down to they will respect themselves. And like I think it's something that everybody needs to get better at, myself included, is self-respect.
Yeah.
Because when you do something that's not correct based on God's word, you're disrespecting yourself at the same time. That's I don't know how much more blunt to put it, but
right. So by following the word of God, you're giving yourself what you need in return anyway. So.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, kids phones are unnecessary for kids. And to be very forthright, especially the phones of today.
These smartphones?
Yeah. Like I would, when my oldest turns 15 years old or 16 years old, I am going to do my darndest to find the old straight dumb phones, because these are poison. They're straight poison, and I think it's harmful for them to be using them. Like, and I might sound crazy. I don't care.
I don't think it sounds that crazy.
I'm gonna just put it in perspective. We both grew up with dumb phones, right? We couldn't access the stuff that you can access today.
No.
Think about that. So why would you give your kid that's 16 years old today a phone of today?
They thought
you know how much trouble you got into at that age, with just via text between you and your buddies. Now imagine how much worse it can. Yeah, and now how much worse it can get when you have full access to everything, and social media, which is downright horrible.
Yeah, man.
Self-respect, teach at a young age.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say. Seriously, and that involves you having to do things that will be difficult. You will have to. Give you an example. Yeah. Tonight, I had to haul the youngest. She decided she's ripping up some paper and making a mess, and I said, "Oh, you made a mess. Okay, now we got to clean this up." No, not going to. Nope. I said, okay, here's how we do it. We pick it up. I grab her hand, open it up, put the paper in there and close it. And then I had to walk her over to the garbage can, and she's crying the whole time. But you know what? She'll remember that.
Oh yeah.
It's self-respect. It's hard. It's hard. It hurts. Your heart is like, it's not easy to do. But guess what? Being a father it never has been easy. You are it states in the Bible. You are the head of the household. It is your duty.
Yeah.
To teach those children. So like, it may be difficult, but it's your duty.
Yeah.
And no matter how hard it is at times.
I mean, for sure, because I never understood it. It's as hard for me. This hurts me as much as it hurts you. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense. And then I totally get it, but it's almost one of those, I have to. I know I have to.
Yeah. I look back at like when I was younger, all the times when, go grab a switch, and,
My in-house was a spatula.
Okay, yeah, yep, exactly. And I look back at those times now, and I'm like, Dad, thank you. Like, just like in my mind, just like, thank you for doing this. It taught me how to respect myself by learning from that and going, hey, I did something wrong that I shouldn't have, and because of that, I am going to be punished for it.
Oh, for sure. And sometimes capital punishment's the only way. It's
exactly it. And
especially for boys, I would say for you don't have to hit a girl. You never have to put your hands on a girl.
Oh yeah. And that's why, so like for me, it's so perspective. My family was all boys.
Oh boy.
Now I'm a father of all girls. So yeah, it's a whole learning curve as to like, learning like how they act, as far as like personality is like just completely different. And like, I'm just like there's some nights where I have to like be like, okay, I need to just like take a step back, like when they're all being like super like dramatized.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't stand this like drama, like falsified drama,
I can only imagine, dude.
And I'll tell them sometimes. I'll be like, hey, look, can we cut the drama out of this? Like, it's just bugging me. And they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. But it's like, again, it's like, that's the response that the average person would expect is, what did you say? But my kids are always like, oh yeah, of course. Why? Because you teach them how to respect themselves and to respect others as well. But not that I'm any more important than anybody else, period. It's just sometimes it gets on my nerves when it's like, they over dramatize something like a lot. And I'm like, oh, I'm a guy and I can't listen to it anymore. And I'm like, hey, let's cut the drama out here.
My phrase for that is making a mountain out of a molehill. My dad would say that, yeah. And you're like, what? Just imagine it being smaller in your head. Just think about it going down.
Yep, that's exactly it. So yeah, it's interesting, but it's I still learn every day. That's how I feel, anyways.
So going forward with this podcast behind you. Your mission is to spread the word.
Yeah, I'd say my mission is I'm coming on here to say my point,
nice.
And hopefully, maybe it'll cause somebody to think about where they're currently sitting, and maybe they can, get closer to Christ.
I'm thankful. I'm super thankful. I'll see you at work. Super sweet guy.
Well, I try to be, but I'm not
nice.
perfect by any means.
Nobody, none of us are. We all fall short of God. But gosh dang it, those shoes are too big, way too big to fill. You read the part where Adam's going, or yeah, Eve is biting the apple, and then she gives some to Adam, and then they learn about the knowledge. You're like, dang it, man. You were naked, and everything was beautiful.
That old Adam that got implanted.
You gotta get covered up now, and you're afraid.
Yeah, it's, the fall of man. It's an interesting story, and it's a good one, and I think everybody can learn from that one. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Say bye, Dada.
Bye, Dada.
Say lunch will be ready.
What is what?
Yeah. Nailed it.